So I've been thinking about something a lot. I think about it probably far too much. But, how do we actually... How do you come to terms with being a good person or making decisions in the long run? And I think that this is a super difficult thing to sort of process and to think about, simply because the way that we often process decisions is sort of a reinforcement mechanism. That as soon as we see some sort of success, we continue on with this thing. But if we have failure, we sort of think of ourselves as problematic. We don't pursue this particular action again. We never want to deal with it. And we have all these negative feelings that are fixated on that. The problem is that much of what we actually do sort of dwells in that failure part of life. And we think about that, right? At least I do. Maybe I'm unusual with this. So I was thinking about, how do you actually process this and think about this? And one way that you can deal about it within organizations or as leaders or as instructors or educators is to really stress the fact that somebody had failed and have a lot of corrective action in response to that. That's kind of the way that I think is convention. And to focus on all of the negativity that happens. The problem is that we process that in a completely different way than if we focus on giving encouragement first and thinking about not necessarily that somebody is incorrect or what they're saying is wrong, but how can we go from here? What's the next things that you can possibly do? Not necessarily focusing on the failure itself, but focusing on, hey, we can actually do something. And that aspect of life, I think we forget about. And I think it's super important, at least in everything that I've read, at least how I feel about life. The people that I gravitate towards and think about are the ones that don't necessarily dwell on the fact that I have not done well in certain areas, but are focused on many more other things because that's enjoyable. That's interesting. That's fun to sort of pursue those particular things. Dwelling on what you didn't do well, and sort of pointing out what you didn't do well is excruciating. And I don't think anybody likes that stuff. So I'd encourage everybody to spend time thinking about how that they can give encouragement rather than correction. Focus on ways that you can build what is called psychological safety, where you just feel like contributing. And it's a fun experience when you're doing that. I think it's super challenging for all of us to do this, but that's kind of the ideal that we should sort of pursue. All right, take care. Have a wonderful day.